Luke, I'm going to mute you for a second because somebody has their feed coming in real loud. There you go. Okay. Are we recording? Yes. All right, everyone, welcome. Today is August. Happy August, August 5th, 2025. And this is the South End Community Collaborative. My name is Johnathan Phipps, and I'm with Albany College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. Today we're going to have Lukee. Is it Luca? Is it Luca or is it Lukee? I don't want to, or Luke. Oh no, is he here?
Yeah, it's Lukee. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, Lukee Forbes. I apologize. Should ask you that earlier. Lukee Forbes. He's going to speak about some of his efforts. Then we're going to go into quick updates, and then we will Lukee Q&A, and then updates and sharing of announcements, and then we will conclude the meeting. And quick reminder, we're going to do the steering committee 2 after this meeting, but it's only going to be really, really short, like 15 minutes. I do have an appointment I have to go to, so we'll do that. Ooh.
I'm sorry.
Somebody's getting feedback. All right, Lukee, you gave you share screen capacity. The floor is yours, and I will mute myself. Okay.
So I might not need. I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second.
Do you have more than one device open with this meeting?
Yeah. I was on my other phone, and that phone doesn't have Zoom on it, so it had me on the browser. So I think that might have been the reason why I wasn't able to play the video that I want to play for you all. However, I do want to play that video. So could you, I know it kind of might be a bother, but could you actually give me access over here instead of the other one? Just because this one, I might be able to actually play this video for you all.
Sure thing. You got it. Both of them are co-hosts. You should have share screen capacity for both of them.
Okay, thank you.
Anytime. Floor is yours.
So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen just so that I could play you all a quick little video before I go ahead and break down our organization.
If it doesn't start playing, you can email it to us and we can play it from our end.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that.
I might just end up doing that just to save us some time. You do. Okay, here we go.
Oh, there you go. You got it.
Page not found. Why can't find the page?
We're looking at your Venmo, by the way. So
yeah.
Is that a subtle hint or?
No. So it's the Vimeo.
Okay, I got you.
The video, but I'm going to actually stop sharing that screen because I just try to share it straight to the website just so that it could be easier. But I'll just broadcast right here. Do you all see the video?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Can you all hear the video?
Yes.
I first got involved with We Are Revolutionary, I want to say when I was 12.
My name is Lukee Forbes. I am a co-founder of We Are Revolutionary as well as the executive director.
Some of the core values of We Are Revolutionary are to unify and empower families who've been affected with ACEs, which is adverse childhood experiences.
We do this by organizing full families and getting them involved in the political process.
As people in the community, we actually have the ability to dictate where the funds in our community get allocated to.
My favorite thing about being part of We Are Revolutionary is going out and advocating and supporting rallies throughout our community and helping our community.
It's in the We Are.
There's a need for something in our community to be different.
So they just switched the word from slavery to incarceration and slave to inmate. Y'all following me?
I myself have experienced several forms of adversity. I have went through the school to prison pipeline where I was incarcerated as a young person at 15 years old.
I think rehabilitation is making a difference in all ways, especially with the youth.
Engaging youth is not something that all or a lot of organizations do. They really keep them out of a lot of decision making. We have to do things that are outside of the box to create new boxes that we can actually be in.
But working around these people really just, helps me learn how to communicate with other people, talk to other people, help my social skills, and other things like that.
I was doing a lot of bad stuff that I wasn't supposed to do, and I was on probation, and being with them changed my ways.
Huge shout out to We Are Revolutionary for helping me in getting my passport. With the help of Executive Director Mr. Lukee Forbes, I was able to get my passport very quickly with little to no hassle. I'm the first person in my family to actually get a passport and travel outside of the country, and so I would not have been able to do that without the fine people at We Are Revolutionary.
These people don't know what it's like to experience certain things. We do need more folks like us, that's in these seats.
We need individuals to get involved with the work at We Are Revolutionary as we're building one city, one community, each family at a time. And we're not only building in our city, we're building in our state, we're building in our country, and we're building in our world. So anywhere you are, anywhere around this globe, if you feel revolutionary, please reach out to us, get involved with our work. We want to support you as you help us build a revolutionary world.
Yeah. So I hope that everyone was able to see and hear the video. My name is Lukee Forbes. I am a co-founder of We Are Revolutionary. I do see a lot of familiar faces on this call. We Are Revolutionary was started to, like the video said, to address ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, by engaging full families in the political process and social engagement. And we don't look at the legislative process as our form of liberation. However, we do look at it as a tool to really teach folks the social issues that have impacted them and their families, and how they can work together to really address those systems and build systems outside of our government to really help address those issues. And we started off with about 3 main programs, but ended up creating a 4th program that's kind of became the center of our organization. Our programs are our Trello program, the Real Adventures, located outside, where we take full families on trips. We always introduce them to either a politician.
This meeting is being recorded.
We always introduce them to either a politician. I'm gonna walk away for a second just because we're gonna play the video on the screen for this meeting on the screen for our kids. So you might hear an overlay. So just get out of the way. Okay. So our second main program is our Legal Eagle program. And that is a program where we teach families about the political process, but also how these laws show up in civil and criminal court, and give a full comprehensive of their rights. We also have our revolutionary art program, where we utilize theater and other forms of art to really help folks express their emotions and learn how to control their emotions, while we still amplify our political campaigns with those. We also, again, have created a 4th program that have became the center of our organization, our youth organizing program, where we teach young people organizing skills as well as peer advocacy skills. And this is a workforce development program that gives them a lot of those soft skills that they need as they're trying to enter into the workspace. However, that program has become the center of our organization and leads a lot of our initiatives and our few other developing programs. Our young people have created a series of block parties that we've been hosting throughout the summer called the Stay Out the Field Days, which is a series of 8 block parties and field days where we go to the Albany shooting hotspots and we create safe spaces in those areas where young people come and their families and they play. So essentially, that's kind of the breakdown of our organization, some of our programs. We also have our annual stage, the city that we hold every year, which is that brings our community together to really give them practices around healing. We always have meditation and things like that at that event. It also brings together music and organizations to really help center healing space. We also have our passport soirees that we host every year where we're trying to help 100 people in our communities obtain their passports. We really believe that transnational organizing and peer advocacy is an important tool to really show people that our issues aren't centralized to only being on our block, in our cities, in our states, or even in our country. So we really try to expand people's horizon and even give people access and opportunity to really be able to embark on those types of solidarity trips so that they can really build a solidarity with other communities and really even see how poverty in America is bad, but is not as bad as poverty in other places like Cuba, for instance. Poverty in Cuba is completely different from poverty in America. And that form of peer advocacy we've seen has really opened people's minds to how even in our small spaces, the little bit that we're able to do and contribute towards these movements really make a difference. And if there's any questions, any things that you will all like to know about the work that we're doing and the ways that individuals can get involved with our work, please let me know.
Excellent. Thank you, Lukee. That was actually very cool. I love the video, and I love the passport initiative. I think that's something that I used to actually. I lived in Australia for 4 years, and I lived in Spain, and I think gaining a wider perspective of the world does help out a lot of people in a lot of ways that most people don't goes unnoticed. Like the joke was when I was coming up, I think it was the percentage of Americans that actually owns a passport when I was like my 20s was less than 30% or less than 20%. Now it's like closer to 50, thank you. But like that's good. But still, so I love that initiative. Are there any questions that anybody has for Lukee Forbes or any questions, inquiries, comments, anything along those lines? I have a question. Well, Ruth, I saw your thing come unmuted, so I don't know.
I was just going to ask if you got that piano.
And you're muted.
You're muted. You're muted.
We were in the midst of programming the whole day, so it was really intense. Our young people, because we've been creating a safety plan, and we're now about to bring that safety plan to life tomorrow. And they're going to pitch it first to the state representatives at the meeting for the $200 million. And then they're going to also go into the city council and county legislator pitching their safety plan. So they were been preparing their speeches for this. And yesterday they all read their speeches and were going over it. So it just kind of took over the day.
Yeah, I was wondering if you need, I'm around if you want them to pitch it to somebody else, especially a face that might look like what they're going to see. I offer myself as tribute if you want them to come and you just tell me what role I'm playing and I would be happy to come and listen.
Okay. And they hear you right now too. So they hear the offer.
Eva, you have your hand raised.
Yes, but you were gonna say something first. You forgot. Uh,
I didn't forget. I'm just
um,
holding on.
Well, if there's no other questions, first of all, Lukey, I'm a avid supporter of all of your work, and I love Real Revolutionary. I love the youth. They're really engaging and making a positive impact in our community. And so, thank you for your thorough overview of your organization. So my question is going to kind of pivot to what does support look like for Revolutionary?
Right now we are struggling to really find that sustainability. Our organization is trying not to say no to kids. And in doing so, we put ourselves in a vulnerable situation where we're constantly looking for support and funding. And we kind of have grown to the point where we went from 8 kids to 120 kids with 2 staff. It sounds amazing, but it is extremely difficult to do, especially where we have to schedule our only 2 staff to work from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And that's just doing the youth programming and not all the other back end stuff that is necessary to run an organization. So we need to be able to really meet that full capacity. And we're really trying to understand how we can get that support from our city and our county legislator, that they don't just continue to give to folks to create the things that we're already doing. We have been able to work with a group of directly impacted young people and a lot of young people who are on probation, none of which were mandated to work with us by probation or even suggested to come here by probation. Just recently, 2 individuals, after we started to like literally make a fuss, has an organization that is contracted for probation reached out to us and brought a kid. However, we're still really paying out of our pockets to employ these kids because this is a workforce development program, as well as still run programming and do a lot of the things that we're doing in community. And even the initiative to get 100 people their passports, it costs money, right? So a lot of our struggle right now is just really finding that sustainability. And as a grassroots organization that is constantly on the ground, it is hard for us to really be get that opportunity to stabilize.
Thank you so much. And I think that, all of our partners on this call, in different realms, and some that are not here, I'm hoping that if you're able to support or potentially partner, please reach out to Lukee Forbes and his team. And Lukee, can you make sure in the chat, if you can, leave your email, your website, and any other kind of links so that you can be connected. And I just want to again say thank you for all that you do. And you're doing an amazing job with our youth in our city and beyond.
Okay. There is a question in the chat that says, what schools are you working in? Lukee, are you there?
Currently, we're not working. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Currently, we're not working in any schools. We were working in schools in the past before we actually started our youth program. Taking on our youth program again has taken on a lot of our capacity, especially as we've extended it to being a summer program as well. Uh, we aren't in any schools. The kids that come from us, they're all youth organizers, they're peer advocates. So they literally word of mouth organize themselves. And we have been able to go from 8 to 120 kids. We do have office space in the Albany Free School, but actually working inside of schools, we haven't been.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments? And you mentioned sorry.
I would say another issue or real resources that we would need is transportation. We are moving kids around uptown, downtown all the time, and it does really it is a lot to really have kids walk really far in order to get to certain places to do canvassing and community work, as well as taking them to events and other activities. It is a lot. And then recently, when we were going to a community forum held by Chief Cox and a few county legislators, the 114 bus deliberately drove past our group of young people because he felt like the kids weren't going to pay to get on the bus. So this is an experience that they kind of encounter all the time. So as we're doing this work, transportation has been a real difficulty in being able to move our kids around, as well as getting a facility uptown, just because a lot of the kids that we have that want to get involved in our program uptown, they don't feel comfortable or safe to come downtown. However, those who are already in this area, we've been able to pull a lot of kids in this area. And we really want to program both populations.
And you mentioned that you work with 120 kids, was it? 120 youth?
Yes.
And what typically what age bracket are you talking about? Or is it open to all ages, or is it really targeted towards a certain age?
We target from 14 to 24. A lot of our population is from 14 to about 17. We do have a few of our older leaders who are about 20 to 21, and a few sprinklets that's 19 and 18.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Lana, you have your hand raised from MEP.
Yes, Lukee, I was wondering, MHEP has a smoking cessation grant, and we've been looking to link up with somebody or network with a agency that would be willing, and the ages are exactly what you just stated. They're 14 to 24, 25 that would like to take the lead, possibly with our agency and partnering with maybe your agency on the benefits of not smoking or vaping, and choosing healthier alternatives. Is that something that they would be open to?
We are 100% down, just because our kids, they're amazing and they have creative minds. So as we've been doing a lot of this work, they wanted to do like a little skit around getting people to stop smoking cigarettes. So the universe is speaking. I definitely would love to connect. I did drop our email in the chat, and we could definitely connect around that.
Absolutely. I will put my email in the chat, and we can get together and maybe have a working lunch. You guys are out of Albany, correct? Because that grant is for Albany youth.
Yep.
So we would love to, I mean, if it's something that we can get around and partner up, it sounds like you guys would probably be a really good fit for it. I can talk to my CEO, Amy, about it.
Thank you.
And if you could just leave your information in the chat, that would be great too. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Excellent. Well, I want to thank Lukee Forbes for a wonderful video, wonderful presentation, and I also want to thank him for the wonderful work that he's doing. Youth engagement and helping and assisting our youth is actually one of the most important parts of a community, in my opinion. But thank you very much for your efforts, and thank you for your wonderful presentation. Lukee, I'm going to send you an invite so you could become a regular here. Is that okay?
Yes, that is definitely okay. And I am going to send you all our safety plan. We're going to be launching it tomorrow. So we really would love to get as many community members not only to look at it, but to also support it. Albany has really not invested in the most poorest parts of the city in ever. So we really want to call on a healing approach to this crisis, this public health crisis around the extreme gun violence and extreme poverty that we see within Albany, and call for realistic solutions. So we're going to send that out to you all, and we hope that folks can get involved and support.
Okay. All righty. Lukee, just make sure when you send the invite to the SECC, just check your spam box. Sometimes for some reason it gets sent to people's spam. It is a Google Groups invitation. All right. And with that, we're going to go into our updates and announcements. And if anybody has any updates or announcements or happenings on, Eva, I see your hand raised, so you get to go first. And we'll go from there.
All right. Good morning, everybody, again. And so I don't want to lose sight of our conversation last week about the homelessness in our community. And we pulled the conversation into our steering committee last week. We did not send an email update. You know, we got really busy, but I did want to bring it to everybody's attention, try to get some feedback. The takeaways after our meeting last week and our steering committee meeting was for us to support council member Derek Johnson to go to the legislative meeting to advocate for some kind of action towards the homelessness and issues in our community. And what that looks like is people from our group and also other community members coming to support to have his back physically, and if not physically, possibly writing letters of support. We also spoke about supporting efforts around grassroots organizations and housing justice to support conversation around rehabilitation of some properties and things of that nature. So I did want to give that update, as well as a village has their, what is this, our fourth or third night market of the season is going to be at the Arbor Hill Complex, which is also known as the New Courts. And we will be having a boots on the ground theme event with lots of activities, sports, vendors. We're still looking for more resources there, to be available to residents in the Arbor Hill area during this event. It's going to be at the Arbor Hill Complex 5 to 8 p.m. This Friday. And hopefully we can see everybody there. And the next announcement I have is a collaboration with a village and Underground Railroad that is putting on a collaborative connecting event that will be hosted at the Underground Railroad on Livingston Avenue. We'll be sharing a flyer, but we are looking for interactive partners to do interactive tabling and help us to be able to uplift and present all of the wonderful activities, projects, and opportunities and resources for our community. There will be free food, some music, but this event is going to be very different because we will be interactive and engaging with our community so that they can get a better understanding and participate in community engagement and events. This event will be hosted on August 26th. This is a Tuesday, which is a Tuesday between 5 p.m. and what is it, Carol? 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. At the Underground Railroad on Livingston Avenue. Also, a village on, oh, it's a lot, a village on August 22nd, we'll be having our monthly fish fry at St. John, Greater St. John's Church in God in Christ. We will be again having wonderful conversation, a free dinner, and an opportunity to engage with over 100 community members within the community. And for now, I think that's it. Johnathan cannot hear you at
Apologies for that. That was weird. There's a question in the chat real quick, Eva, before you go. Is there a date for the Common Council meeting that Mr. Derek Johnson wants us to attend and where he will be speaking this issue? So is there a date that he outlined?
There's no date yet. What we wanted to do is make sure he had this key component in support. Derek Johnson did express advocacy is important, but having support behind you when you're advocating is even more important. And so now that we have reviewed that, we're going to talk to Councilman Derek Johnson and see which scheduled event, meeting we're going to participate in. And then we will share it through our email chain. So please keep note of that. Definitely, possibly will be this month or early next month.
Okay, thank you. All right, so next we have Pastor Mike, and then we have Tabora.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, I would just like to say that on tonight we're going to be at the National Night Out at the Swinburne Park today at 5 o'clock, and the Hub Albany Community Land Trust Hub will be doing a block party on August 11th at 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and that's going to be on Orange Street, 255 Orange Street. And also, we will be doing a collaboration meeting this Friday at 11:30 at the Albany Public Library on Washington Avenue, focusing strongly on SNUG for their big event on August 22nd. And a question for Lukee is, are you doing any fundraisers for your camp or your organization?
Lukee, if you're still here, there is a question.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're doing 2 fundraisers. We have one where we're looking to have folks help us raise the funds to be able to help 100 people get their passports. We're asking for 100 people to donate $20 for 7 weeks. And then we're also having asking community members to host house parties for us where they can invite their friends and families, and we can explain to them about our organization and they can raise funds for us that way. We're a family-centered organization, so we really would like to invite Albany's families into helping support our work.
Okay. Is there a way you can get us that information so we can know how to get the funds to you?
Yes. If you want, you can send me an email. My email is in the chat as well as our website, and then also on our Instagram, you can DM us anytime as well.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Okay, excellent. All right. Next we have I think it was Tabora. I have it written down, and then we have perfect. Hold on real quick. And then I think Pastor Mike, is that your hand raised for a new thing or is that a continual one? Oh, never mind. All right, and that answer that one. Thank you very much. And then we have Tracy Killar. All right, Tabora, go.
Good morning. I just wanted to express to the group, we did talk about what the co-seat group was in process of doing. We talked about the outreach efforts that we've been working diligently on with connecting to our unhoused population. On Thursday at 200 Henry Johnson, we will be meeting at 9 a.m. in the morning to continue our outreach efforts. We are encouraging anyone that's on this call that would like to be a part of that outreach effort to please come out over at 200 Henry Johnson. We are looking for ways to kind of better engage, I know we talked about being able to provide a lot of the unhoused population with little care packages. For the most part, people do see our unhoused population as being mental health or have some type of substance abuse, and that is not always the case. So we don't want to just continue showing up with Narcans in our bags. We want to make sure that the folks in our community have other things that can support them while they're out in the community living in conditions that are unbearable. Some are living in vacant properties. Some are living just out on the streets in front of other people's properties. So we're encouraging anyone that wants to get involved. If you guys have any opportunities to make care bags or care packages, please, I encourage you guys to reach out and let me know if that's something you guys are interested in helping out with. And again, 200 Henry Johnson on Thursday at 9 a.m. We'll be at the location, having the opportunity to reach out to different locations. We're going to start from the 200 Henry Johnson, and we're going to try to go 2 blocks in each direction. So we're going to be looking for like Clinton Avenue, Livingston, up through Clinton Avenue, Lark Street, Thornton, back up in the areas that we have already identified as areas that the Joseph van will not target or go up into. So that would be predominantly the West Hill and Arbor Hill community.
Laura, are you still there? Because you just cut out abruptly.
No, that was it. Just those areas.
No problem. Thank you very much. All right, next we have Tracy.
Good morning, everyone. First, thank you, Lukee, for all that you're doing. One of the words that you said really struck me, which was stabilize. And I think that I just want to acknowledge that you and so many others on this call are just like, it's like constantly just working to talk about, like, we have to talk about sustainability, but we can't even sometimes stabilize. And so I just wanted to let you know that we appreciate all that you do, and certainly hear, the issues of running a nonprofit with very little support for the kids. So thank you, and appreciate you very much and all that you do. And I appreciate learning all the things that you do. We just wanted to say that. And then the other thing I wanted to ask, for the group, and maybe I apologize if we've talked about this before, but there's always so much wealth of information on this call. And I was wondering if we ever talked about or considered a website where we could be sharing all of this information. I know we talked about like bulletin boards around the city, but I wonder about a website or an app or something like that. I mean, I'm like probably the least technology savvy person on this call, but it was just a thought, because there's always such great things happening, that we learn on this call. And then the last thing I wanted to just share was that one of our team at the Children's Cafe recently had a fundraiser and some of you may have already done this as well, at Glenn Peters Jewelers on Southern Boulevard by Sonic. And I just wanted to share that any nonprofit can have a fundraiser there, and it's free to use their space. They provide all the food, and they had like a whole buffet of food for the guests. And then anybody that buys anything from the bar, the money goes to your organization, and you can bring auction items that you can sell tickets if you want. You can bring auction items, but there is not any overhead cost. And the food in itself was a big savings for us. So it's Glenn Peters on Southern Boulevard, and they just do it, as a community member for nonprofits. Thanks, everybody. I hope you have a great day.
Excellent. Thank you, Tracy. Any other updates or announcements? Questions, comments? All right. Well, with that, I'm going to let the final 15 minutes. Last week we did have a wonderful conversation, and I know there was probably still a lot that wanted to be said about, our efforts to try and address and understand and I guess just as Eva was saying, the homeless discussion. So I'm going to leave the floor open for that, and then we will probably sign off at around 9:58, and then we will do the steering committee at 10:05 to I'd say 10:20 at the latest is the latest I can go. All right. Eva, you have your hand raised.
Yes, so to continue the unhoused, and thank you for correcting me. Um, Making sure we're using the best terminology. Conversation. I think that a way that we can support is kind of just coming together to be realistic. I know everybody's not going to be able to show up to support Councilman Derek Johnson. And so my idea is for us to collectively put together some language to help Derek Johnson kind of not only advocate definitely for the community, but have the support and like a support letter to the county legislators. And so I kind of wanted to throw that out there to get some feedback. If everybody thinks that's a good idea, kind of what some steps towards that would look like. It just says Zoom user with your hand up. Not sure.
Zoom user, you have your hand up, but it just says Zoom user, so feel free to just unmute and speak. But just do introduce yourself, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought my name came up. It's Reverend Johnson.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I was listening to the conversation and everything else. I wanted to add, just to give an update on to this group, because we were talking about at one time about going for Sheriff Apple and going to get a tour. Senator Fahey and myself, along with another staff member, actually did take that tour to the county jail approximately about 2 weeks ago, and to let the community group know that if they wanted some more feedback or some questions that they had about things that they wanted to talk about, feel free to reach out to me and contact me as well. I can share what we learned from that tour, and some of the questions that some of the group that are sitting here and other groups that had questions about certain other issues and processes that are going on at the county jail. Sheriff Apple was able to give us a full tour of the full facility and every side. And I do have some information to share from Senator Fay's office that she did take that up and asked some very pertinent questions, straight, direct questions, and we got some answers about some of the questions that other groups in our community had asked, and to check out what was going on at the county jail. So I wanted to let you know and to give you some feedback on that we did do it, and we do have some information for those that would like to get that information. Contact us directly.
Perfect. Lukee, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I was quite intrigued by what the pastor just said. I'm sorry, Reverend. Did he take you to 3 East or 3 West or 4 East, like the box and the 23 and 1 tiers? You say he took you to the full facility?
Yes.
They took you to the box, and how did
Yes.
that look? How did the box and the 23 and 1 tiers look?
For the condition of the jail in itself, I'm not. It didn't look well. I'll tell you what, it didn't look what I would say as the cleanest facility or the best facility under the circumstances. The whole jail is old. period. And the renovations or any kind of fixings that they have done has not been done in a total capacity over the whole jail, but it looked like the same parts, what pretty much the rest of the jail looked like, dilapidated and not a very clean place in the sense of uh, what we would like to see a conventional jail, but the jail itself is old. That's the best way I can phrase it, Lukee.
Yeah, I appreciate you phrasing it in that manner. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there are standards, what we call livable standards. There are standards that are below, and if they're meeting certain um, health inspection standards that the state requires and the county requires, they may just be, meeting that and that
See,
alone.
my
But
fear is like, as being someone who's been in Albany County Correctional Facility, as an inmate, I can tell you that they clean up before folks come through, right? So what you
yeah,
experienced
yeah,
was cleaned, right? So and I really think, like, if these tours that he's doing, it placates towards that. Like, we have credible messengers like yourself come back and are willing to answer questions, but you can't answer the questions, right? Like, as to what the conditions actually are in there. And that's really the saddest part, right? Is because, like, you're doing all that you can to be able to answer these questions for community, but we won't unless we actually send a spy in there to do a tour, right? Like, you got to send someone in there that is dressed up as an inmate, that hears the verbal abuse from the COs, that experience the jail before they clean it up, that understands the culture of the 23-1, that understands that the police officers in the box are going to ask you if you want to eat breakfast or go to rec, right? Like,
yeah,
those tours are not functionally sound for them to really, it really is just, it's kind of harmful, right? Where they're
right.
walking individuals like yourself through these tears, and they're probably not even allowing you to really speak to just any inmate, right? So yeah, that was
No,
just my only comment, just
no,
really
no.
trying
We were
to
allowed.
no,
No,
not any inmate. It's just they probably had you speak to inmates, right? But not any inmate, right?
no.
So that's the thing.
In
So
all,
you have a couple hands raised, and I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to speak, if that's okay. And we're gonna, like, because we got about 5 more minutes, so we have Tabora and Preem.
Could I, Johnson, just to address that? Yeah, we did. We're just a quick question. We did randomly speak to several inmates without being probed or asked, or I mean, the questions that Sheriff Apple he did have some people that did share with us, but we randomly talked to inmates as we went to different blocks and asked pointed questions and right in front of the officers, and to get an understanding and to get some feedback. That was the purpose of doing that random question. So I do understand that what you're saying, because again, my experience in prisons, I worked in correctional facilities in SHU units for several years as an inside guy. And so I do understand what you're saying, but comparatively to the jail, to other jails right now, I could not have an index to say that ours county jail was worse than Rensselaer County's, Schenectady County, or anybody else's, because I don't have that index. But I do understand what you're saying, and I respect what you're saying. But there's also
Excellent.
some clarity.
Tabora and then Preem.
Thank you. So just to piggyback off of that really quick, August 11th, there will be a group that will be meeting right around the Academy Park. They are going to be going over to the county legislative meeting on this particular topic. At 6:30, they'll be marching over to the legislative meeting. So just so you guys have that on your radar while you guys are talking about that particular situation here that's happening throughout the county jail. But I wanted to answer Eva's question. Her question was, what can you guys be able to do to support Derek? I think it's important that you guys understand writing a letter of support or just an answer from also your common council. Like, Derek is the chair of our housing committee. It is very important for us to understand that it is also his job as our chairperson of our city to understand what is happening with our unhoused population and how they can be supported. So please, I encourage everyone, if that's the step that you guys are taking, and that is what Derek has advised you guys to do, please take that on as a way to get information to him and also being able to hold those who are in positions accountable to our most vulnerable populations. Most of our unhoused people, just so you guys know, they are seniors. We have a very large amount of older unhoused population of people that are in the city right now.
Okay. Breen?
When it comes to the housing part and the discussion we're having, I think it's always good to have data. I don't think we have all the information about how many shelters there are available in the county of Albany, how many of them are family shelters, how many of them are for seniors, how many of them are for people who have MICA, which is mental illness, chemical addiction, which is the imbalance of chemicals in the brain, which also can be a detriment to the person that's dealing with it, because they may be aggressive, they may not be able to process information the right way. So it'd be good to know what is available in the county, because there's always different things happening. I do know what's available through the runaway homeless and youth population, because we fund them through the Albany County, DC, the Department of Children and Family Youth Services, Albany County Youth Bureau. The Office of Children and Family Services disperses almost $1 million, but has us administer it through multiple organizations. Some of those organizations are on this call, but a huge chunk of it goes to runaway and homeless youth. When it comes to the jail, old school people tell you jail wasn't made to be comfortable. So once again, that's a culture of them thinking it's okay. And, I don't want to be too broad and vague and say them, but for a culture to think that it's okay for jails to be dirty. And then you get TV and all this kind of stuff that'll give you like this idea of the culture that inmates don't deserve this and they don't deserve that. And they're not even called inmates anymore. People were talking about word semantics earlier, but justice involved people, or people who are currently incarcerated, don't deserve some of those, soft sensibilities. But it's very important to point out there are not a lot of recidivism groups in Albany, and most people who are released from the Albany County Jail do not have reintegration supports of coming out to where, okay, I don't have my birth certificate. How am I going to get to work? I don't have any transportation. How am I going to get to CDTA? I don't have any education. How do I get a GED? I have a violent charge or conviction. Now I can't get a job. Where can I work? So Albany does not have reintegration services. Albany does not have many recidivism programs. So we keep seeing the same turnaround when it comes to justice involved people. But when it comes to putting a shelter in the jail, that just shows how desperate this place is to be able to house people, compared to working with organizations or finding some of these houses that are totally whatever's going on with them to be able to make housing and affordable housing or supportive housing or transitional housing. Everybody's going through so many different things in the spectrum, and especially how people have no housing, do not have a housing anymore. You can have a family who's dealing with domestic violence coming from Georgia and had a gun violence and having to deal with having to be a part of homelessness. Hi, honey, how are you doing today? And you have to deal with those type of things. But I just got distracted. A youth just came in here. Okay, so the point is that Albany is lacking on so many different things, and then we're competing to get money for almost like the same situations all the time. But we should be talking more with those systems. And Reverend Johnson, I wish that we would have been able to go. And when it comes to talking to people, when it comes into the jail, they're going to choose the best people to talk to. They may look like random people, but those are their people. It works that way with the city of Albany, county, and state too. They're going to put people in the front who they know are not going to act up. They're going to put the best actors in your face who are not going to say anything. They're not going to make a big deal. They're going to keep the meeting running, and they're not going to stand up and say much.
Ooh,
So
thank you very much, Preem. So it is 10 o'clock. We're going to end the meeting. I do encourage people to stick around if they can. At 10:05, we will start our steering committee. It'll only be for about 10 or 15 minutes today because I do have an appointment I have to go to. Steering committee is basically when we decide how we come up with a strategy on how to have speakers and topics for these meetings. All right. With that, I hope everyone has a wonderful week and have a great weekend and enjoy the warm weather and happy August. Take care, everyone. And we will be back here at 10:05 for the steering committee if you want to stay for that.